Okay. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. We've got Louise, we've got Claire, we've got Austin, we've got Jane, and we've got also Carla joining, joining the class in the background. So you can look at any of them and just, if you feel lost, just have a look at what they're doing, but I will be cueing from my end. I hope everyone is well, and yes, we hope we enjoy the class all together. And please do give us some feedback. This is quite new experience for us, so we would love to learn as we go along. Thank you, everyone. So if we all lie down on our backs and just try to kind of settle and be nice and comfortable. So we will need your mat, we will need either a cushion or a small towel so we can support and prop the head. And if we all come onto our backs with feet in hip-width apart distance roughly, knees nice and soft, so we're going to bend the knees to ease off any pressure on our lower backs. And just be aware of whether you can release the whole back of the body into your mat and then allow the head to be supported. If you need a cushion, this is the time to place your cushion behind your head. Now, the most important thing to mention here is, because we can't see you, it is really important for you to stop if you feel that any of the exercises are causing discomfort or you're not quite sure how you've got to do those exercises correctly. Okay. So we're going to start with a few minutes of just allowing the body to relax and settle into the mat. And then from there, we're going to slowly start adding on some simple Pilates movements. So the first thing we want to do is, just as the body is nice and settled on the mat, we're just going to bring our awareness first into our breath. So spend a little moment first to notice the quality of the breathing, and what we're interested in is how are we breathing right now. So check the inhale, check the exhale. And before we start changing anything, we just want to check whether there are particular areas which already feel quite restricted, what we call compressed, or where you feel that there is quite a lot of tension which we've been building up through the day. So we're going to start using a little bit of imagery to really allow that breath to help us to open the body from inside out, and just to kind of tease those areas of tension and to see whether we can find a little bit more give there. So let's start with a nice and deep inhale through the nostrils. And then we're going to encourage the exhale to happen through the mouth. So breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the mouth, and the whole idea is to breathe out through the mouth so we can start to use the jaw to relax the face, and from there hopefully you can feel that softness coming into the neck and the shoulders. So next time we take an inhale, we're just going to take that breath as deep as we can. And as we exhale, just be aware of whether you can allow the jaw to start softening, the breath to feel nice and easy. And just pay attention to whether when you exhale, you can start softening the back of the throat, from there the neck, and hopefully you will feel that softness coming right down into both shoulder blades. And as we become a little bit more aware of the breath, we can use the imagery of our breath trying to open and expand every single vertebra of the spine. So as we take the inhale through the nostrils, we're going to work our way from the vertebra starting right behind the skull, so base of the skull, going through every vertebra of the back until you reach the tip of the tail. And if the breath is quite restricted, you may find that you can't quite go right down to the tip of the tail, so just go as far as you can. And hopefully each time with each incoming breath, you will be able to just go a little bit deeper, just following that softness in the body and working your way down to the base of the pelvis. The exhale is where we want to just notice and feel whether the exhalation can start to bring a little bit more of this real relaxation or softening effect, starting from the forehead, working your way through the eyes. So just checking whether we can allow the eye to settle further back into the base of the skull, whether the eyelids are nice and soft. And then pay attention to the jaw, the throat, and work your way through the shoulders into the whole trunk, legs, and all the way down to your feet. Try a couple more breaths. And after the next exhalation, we're going to bring our awareness from just working through the body in a very much linear way to starting to think about the body a little bit more of a 3D structure. So we just want to check whether we can open the sides of the body as well. So next time when we take this inhale, just check whether you can start creating some space for the heart by literally expanding both sides of the trunk. So really allow the rib cage and the lungs to open out to the sides of the room. And Claire is using her hands to give her a little bit of feedback so your hands can come to the side of the rib cage. You can place your hands around the side of the rib cage and just give the rib cage a gentle hug. When you take the inhale, just allow the ribcage to expand into both hands. And as we exhale, we're just going to allow the ribs to soften in and down towards the midline of the body. So while we're breathing into the ribcage, pay attention to whether you can feel and find that balance between the left and the right side of the body. And also whether we're engaging the whole lung. So although the hands are at the bottom part of the rib cage, when you take the inhalation, let the breath happen from the beginning of the neck, where the lungs begin, right down to the end of the rib cage where the hands are right now. And still being very aware of just allowing the exhalation to bring a little bit more softness to the body. Couple more breaths. And as we finish this next exhalation, we're just going to take the arms to the sides of the body and just bring your awareness to the breath into the trunk and just pay attention to whether you've got a little bit more freedom, a little bit more give to really work through the trunk of the body and just finding that feeling of the body being a whole part rather than a real selection of bits and bobs which we're using individually. So once we start with the inhale through the nostrils, work your way through the trunk, and if you can, take it into the legs right down to your feet. One more breath. So from here, we're going to bring our awareness and our attention to the pelvis. We're going to start first by just opening the body up and just creating a little bit more of an open and broader base of support. So we're going to bring the awareness to the back of the pelvis and slowly start to explore this forward and backward movement where the pelvis tilts towards the chest and then away from the chest. So if we had the clock on the top of the pelvis, the movement at the moment is happening between 6 o'clock. Let's say 6 o'clock is your pubic bone, 12 o'clock is your navel. So it's a movement which is happening, which happens between 6 and 12. And it's a really nice, easy rocking movement. So as we're moving the pelvis forwards and back, just be aware whether you can allow the movement to trickle up the spine, right up to the top of the skull. So we just want to allow this movement to work its way through every vertebra of the back until you reach the head. And remember that the head is where the brain is, so it's part of our nervous system. So we want to make sure that the head is invited into the movement. So the head movement is not separate to the spine. It's part of it. So as the pelvis starts to move towards the head naturally will tip back, so your eye gaze will move towards the back of the room. As the pelvis starts to move away from the head will be moved forward towards the feet again. So it's very much what we call a reciprocal movement, where if the pelvis moves, the head participates. If the head moves, the pelvis has to come with it. And pay attention to your breath. Make sure that as you're moving forward and back, the breath is still coming with you. Make the movement a little bit deeper so you can start to explore a little bit more range, hopefully. Couple more. That's it. Stay with your breath. Keep that softness coming with the exhale. And from here, we're just gonna start naturally moving into bridge. So just allow the pelvis to settle into fairly neutral place. And we're going to allow the feet now to literally take most of the weight. So we're gonna stand on our feet, start sending your knees forward and over the toes, pick up the pelvis, pick up the spine. So just go as far as you feel comfortable. Inhale at the top and use the exhale to just allow the vertebrae to soften back down. Now make the movement nice and continuous. So just allow the bridge movement to just go up and then back down and let those movements flow. So it's this whole idea that we don't want a beginning and end. Really allow the vertebrae to roll off the floor and then to roll back on the floor. And just pay attention to how much mobility you've got in the spine today. You don't need to go too high if you feel that your legs are holding you back or your spine is holding you back. Just go as far as you feel comfortable. If the low back starts to feel compressed, definitely make the movement smaller. So naturally, what I find is we tend to carry more tension on one side of the body. So just be aware whether when you're rolling down through the vertebrae of the spine, you actually can feel that one side of the body feels a little bit tighter. Also, from personal experience, what I find is that the top part of the rib cage seems to be where most of our tension resides. So as you're coming down the spine, just be aware whether you can find a little bit more space between each two vertebrae of the back. The breath can be so helpful here, everyone. So when you take an inhale and you come to the very top, use that soft exhalation to really allow the slack to come into the vertebrae so you can roll down with ease. We're going to try 2 more. So next time, as you come all the way back down, just settle and rest in neutral position. So from here, we're going to go into another real favorite and quite basic, but literally these are our bread and butter exercises. So the next exercise is going to be femur arc. So as the base hopefully feels a little bit more open, just check where you need your arms in relationship to the body. So the closer the arms are to the trunk, the smaller the base of support or the harder the movement. The further away they are, the more support you will receive from the arms. So you just want to find this right place so you don't have to grip and tense from the neck. So the arms will rest nice and comfortably. The back of the body is nice and heavy. We're going to pay attention to the pelvis and also the feet. So we're going to allow the feet to become a little bit more settled into the mat. And in your own time, when you feel the back of the body being heavy, just give a little bit more weight to one of the feet. So as the other foot starts to feel a little bit lighter, float that knee up to roughly 90 degrees. So now pause there, and as you can see with our teachers, most of them have their leg a lot further in, so it's definitely past 90 degrees. You want to find that place where the leg is not working hard to be there. Allow the back of the body to remain nice and heavy and slowly float the opposite leg up to 90 degrees as well. Okay. So before we begin, just make sure that your back feels comfortable, arms are where you need them, and also the legs are just resting into the pelvis, but we're not gripping through the front of the thighs. So make the movement nice and easy. We're going to choose one leg and slowly start allowing the hip to open and the leg to travel down as far as you wish. Once you feel that this is as far as I would like to go, float the knee back up, try to reset the legs and just let the opposite leg repeat the movement. Wonderful. So stay with this movement and just be aware when the leg starts to travel down and open the hip, what happens to the head, neck, and shoulders. So as soon as you start feeling a gripping sensation coming from the head, neck, and shoulders, we're using way too many muscles to really support the trunk. So what I will advise you to do is, as soon as you start to feel any involvement from the neck, I need you to stop the leg at this point and float it back up to the resting position, which is roughly beyond 90 degrees. Excellent. So now we've established this healthy, safe range. What I want you to start connecting to is your breath, and let's use the breath to create the incomers, the core stability, which the body needs, or the amount of stability can be altered by how we breathe. So try to lower the leg on the inhale. Notice how you feel. And also Try to lower the leg exactly in the same way, but with the exhale, and just pay attention to whether it feels easier or harder. And I will advise you to choose the breath which just allows this movement to feel easier rather than choosing the harder option. So breathing in as you lower the leg down or breathing out as you lower the leg down, it really doesn't matter as long as you're breathing and you're choosing the type of breath which works for you. So as we can see from our teachers, their legs are starting to go a lot lower. So they're starting to find more strength in the trunk, but also their hip flexors are starting to expand and extend with a lot more ease. So if we're able to touch the ground, which I can see from my screen that a lot of them are starting to do, we're going to just add a little extra to this movement. So next time, as the foot starts to come down and touches the floor, just allow your toes to stroke the mat. So you're going to lengthen the leg forward and away from the head. Then slide the foot back in and float the leg back to 90 degrees. Then change sides. The opposite foot will slide into the floor. We're going to stretch this leg as far out as we can. Then slide it back in towards you and into 90 degrees. So make the movement continuous and start to pay attention to the relationship head-pelvis. Be aware of your lower back. So because the leg is connected via muscles to the lower back, check that the lower back doesn't overarch to allow the leg to extend. So we want to literally find this fine balance between how much length we can find into the flexors of the hip and also how much strength we've got into the trunk. So we don't want to compromise our back because we want to take the leg too far. Make it continuous, keep breathing, and very much like femur arc, what you will find is that each time your body probably can give you a little bit more. Couple more times. Make sure you're breathing, everyone, and just keep paying attention to the head, neck, and shoulders. Make the next one the last one, and from here, bring the knees towards the chest. As the knees come to the chest, just rock from side to side. Yes, ease off any tension which we may have in our backs right now. Wonderful. And from here, we're going to bring you on all fours. So all fours is hands and knees. So we can do a few cat and dog exercises, which are basically, the whole idea is to mobilize the spine. So the first thing which we want to do is create a nice stable base. So let's come onto the hands and the knees. The hands will be roughly under the shoulder sockets and the knees will be slightly further forward than your hip sockets. And you can do a little bit of exploration here. So you can just move your body towards the hands, then move the body back towards the feet, and just make this movement smaller and smaller until you feel that you've got this place where you're not loading your hands or you're not loading the legs too much, so you're nice and comfortable into all fours. Okay. If this is not comfortable, just come onto your forearms and then you can do it from here as well. Okay. So we want to find the spine. So we've got the tail at one end, crown is at the very opposite end. We're going to start the movements first from the tailbone. So slowly start sending your tailbone down towards the mat. And this will open your lower back, work your way through the middle back, upper back, and at the very end, release the head and the neck. Now we're going to bring the tail up towards the ceiling. This will start to extend or arch our back. Work your way through the lower, middle, upper back, and at the very end, lift the gaze. Make it continuous, everyone. So tail drops first, opening lower, middle, upper back, releasing any tension from the head and the neck. And then tail starts to lift the spine. That's it. Just opening the lower, again, the middle, upper back, and at the very end, we take the gaze up. So let's bring our breath into this. As we exhale, we're going to send the tail down. We're going to open the spine and release the head. As you inhale, tailbone goes towards the ceiling. Work your way through the spine until we lift the gaze at the very end. Make it continuous. Breathe out to go into what we call angry cat. And breathe in, which is the dog's tail exercise, really allowing the spine to extend in the opposite direction. Few more times. Now check whether you can play with your breath and make your breath a little bit deeper so we can start opening the body further from inside out. Couple more breaths, everyone. And make the next one the very last one. So as we finish this last movement, sit back into your feet and release into child's pose. If you feel that your arms are struggling here, just bring your arms by your sides, hold and breathe. So yes, go as far as you can. So what Louise is demonstrating is opening the chest a little bit more. So her body weight is shifted forward towards the arms and she's dropping the chest down towards the floor. If we look at Austin, Claire, and also Carla, they're bringing the sit bones back, and Jane, that's it, to actually open the lower back. And really, whichever option you choose, they're both very, very good options. They're just targeting different parts of the spine, but make sure that you're breathing into it and you can ease your body into the floor with every exhale. One more breath here. And then slowly restack and let's come into seated. So for seated, this is the last quite basic exercise, but as I'm saying, it's one of the important exercises to allow the spine to mobilize is mermaid. So for mermaid, the challenge here is to find a comfortable seated position. So I've got this towel. If you feel that you're one of those people who are tight in their hips, just allow the towel to be underneath you, so that will give you a little bit more lift and you can come in cross-legged position. If you feel like you've got the range in your hips, then Z-sit is quite a good way to actually settle for mermaid, because then you can open the hips a little bit further. So for the mermaid exercise, the arms will come to the sides of the body. And just allow your fingertips to rest on the mat, which you can't see from my view, but you can see that the other teachers are doing it really well. So choose one arm, doesn't matter which one. So the hand will slide along the mat and this will guide the spine up and over the pelvis. So just go as far as you can. Pause here for a moment and channel your inhale into the rib cage. So the hand connected into the mat will push the floor down, float up, and slowly reach up and over to the other side. Inhale into the opposite side of the rib cage. Again, press the floor down to find the energy to restack up and over. So inhale to open, exhale to float up. Inhale to open, exhale to float up. So start to pay attention to the spine. So let's find length from the tail up to the crown of the head. And as you float to the other side, again, find the sense of unity through the vertebrae of the spine right up to the skull. Keep breathing, everyone. Inhale, open. Exhale, restack. Breathe in, open. Exhale, restack. 2 more times. And this is our last one. So if you're in cross-legged position, take the other leg in front. If you're in Z-sit, let's take the feet to the opposite side. Arms to the sides of the body. And we're good to go. Slide one hand along the floor. Open the rib cage, reach up and over. Breathe in here. Slowly push the floor down, float up, reach up and over to the other side. So keep now that length from the tail to the crown of the head. Be aware where the head is, so make sure that the head is not too far forward. Couple more breaths, everyone. And this is your last one. And come back to neutral. We're going to cross the legs. So this is very much a short session of Pilates where we've put all of the basic exercises, some of the most important exercises I feel. So if you want to do something at home, or if you're a real beginner, these are probably a good movements to begin from. We will be trying to do our live classes where you will see a lot more variations. You will see also all of our team teaching different classes. So you roughly know what our signature is like. We're all very unique in the way we teach. And you can enjoy this lovely variety of different classes. So just look at the timetable and come and join us most of the days of the week. We will try our best to have a class a day. But yes, keep yourself moving, make sure that you're well, and we look forward to seeing you next time, everyone. Thank you very much, and goodbye.